Today, we have the enormous pleasure of speaking with our very good friend, Karen Miles. Karen's carnivore journey began in December of 2019 after a couple of years of a low-carb way of eating. Karen has been instrumental in the carnivore community, demonstrating what an active carnivore life can look like. She is in her last year of teaching PE to elementary school children. She is a busy wife, mother, grandmother, and active kayaker and member of the Yak Sisters. She is also a snowshoer, pickleball player, and lover of all things outdoors. Even with all of this, Karen takes the time to present us with all of her experimentation, including cooking tutorials, her Keto-Mojo and CGM experiences, and our favorite, her collaboration with Jacki Jam as one of the Carnivore Twins. Karen organizes and attends all the carnivore meetups she can and is always willing to help anyone to organize one in their area. We can personally attest that Karen is so willing to help in any way that she can, and she's just a joy to have a conversation with. We're so glad that she's here with us today.
Well, thank you very much. That was lovely, Amy. Appreciate all those kind words.
Hey, Karen, thank you for being here. If you wouldn't mind, just give us a little introduction of yourself, anything that Amy missed in there. Tell us about your journey so far, what brought you to carnivore, and what health issues, if any, have you been able to remedy by eating this way?
All right, thanks. I think Amy hit a lot. What have you been
She
doing?
did.
Looking at my Instagram, Amy.
Yeah, right.
Hi, hey, how you doing? I'm Karen Miles. I live in Illinois. I grew up in New Jersey, and I love going back that way, but we've been married almost 40 years next month. Woo, 40 years.
Wow.
It's been a great life, but I ate the standard American diet all these years, except 5 years ago, I changed my life. I started low carb. I don't say keto because I didn't always do 20 grams or less. So I say low carb. I did that for 2 years and 3 months, and I found a lot of success that way. Even right away, the first few months, I dropped like 35 pounds. Like the first 3 months, I'm like, awesome, this is great. I love this. I could eat all this stuff. But I still had those cravings for other foods. I would still eat the desserts every now and then and off plan every now and then. Not too much. I was pretty good. So that went on, and we had some visitors one Thanksgiving 2 years after I started, and I bought some wonderful Thanksgiving desserts and foods for everybody, and especially these two guests from China. I figured they're from China, they probably haven't had some of these foods, so I bought panettone bread, which is a delicious Italian holiday treat. I'm not going to talk about it too much. But I said, oh, I'll make sure they eat it. They'll eat it. They'll eat it. Well, so did I. And that was a downhill spiral. And every time I see that bread around the holidays, I'm like, don't look at it because that really hurt me bad. So I had it for like 3 mornings in a row, toasted with butter, this, that, and the other. And like next thing you know, I'm eating it. Next thing I know, here comes my aches and pains. Now, low carb helped me get off blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, and the last thing I got rid of was my CPAP machine that I used for 10, 12 years that helped me so I didn't stop breathing in the middle of the night. I lost all 3 of those things, and I'm like, awesome, this is good. And my joint pain was better, not great, but much better. I still was uncomfortable sleeping. I still wasn't 100%. So I listened to YouTubes, and Dr. Barry was one of the main ones I listened to, and he kept on talking about carnivore. I'm like, who eats meat? Are they nuts? Who does that? I'm not, no, that's not crazy. Talked about Kelly Hogan and various other people. So I decided to look up Kelly Hogan, and I'm like, maybe, but she didn't have my zero carb life like those shirts you're wearing right now, Claire and Amy. Look at that. I have numerous of Kelly Hogan's My Zero Carb Life memorabilia or gear as well. But I looked her up, and I'm like, oh man, she's amazing. She's way younger than me, 20 years younger, but I don't know, something resonated with me and her. And I like dug in, I checked out everything. Again, she didn't have a YouTube channel, My Zero Carb Life. Find her on YouTube. And then I looked at, I'm like, this is interesting. I listened more and more. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this. And I was in pain. The reason I tried it is because after eating all that crap that Thanksgiving weekend, my ankle hurt me so bad. My joints hurt especially my one ankle. And I didn't hurt my ankle. I didn't do anything to twist it. I've had lots of sports injuries through the years. I played high school sports and college sports. I have lots of injuries through the years. And I started eating carnivore. And 3 days later, that pain was 100% gone. I remember beforehand, one of the teachers in my school was like, Karen, you should go to the doctor. I'm like, yeah, I know what I need to do. I need to stop eating this crap I'm eating, these breads and this other junk. So 3 days later, my pain was totally gone. I'm like, are you kidding me? In my ankle. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm going to still do this. So I kept on doing it and doing it. Next thing you know, I'm sleeping better. My shoulders used to hurt me. My hips would hurt me. My knees would hurt me. My back would hurt me. I rolled over all the time. I'm like, this is crazy. And that ankle pain being gone in 3 days was a game changer. And I've since heard many people say on day 3 of carnivore, they've had changes, day 3. So if you're watching this and you're not carnivore people, give it more than 3 days. But I'm telling you, I've had success in 3 days. And then the other things kept on changing and changing and changing. My shoulder pain was gone, my hip pain, my back pain, my knee pain. And I'm like, wow. I play a lot of, you missed some of my sports. Yes, I kayak a lot. I do snowshoe. Another thing I love is I love to play pickleball. In the summertime, I probably play it 4 or 5 days a week. And even in the wintertime, maybe 3 days a week. And I love it so much. I like to bike. I think my biggest bike ride this year was 32 miles this summer. So I like to bike, I like to hike. I love to kayak. A story about, I'm not taking your show away here. I want to tell a story. The other day in PE, one of my 5th graders said, hey, Mrs. Miles, why don't you do these warm-ups with me? And I write the warm-ups every day. There's some kind of running and 3 different kinds of exercises, arms, legs, different things. So that, Mrs. Miles, why don't you run with me? And I've had kids say to me before, why don't you do this with us? Like wise guy. But then when this kid said, I'm like, I'll do it with you. And 10 jumping jacks, no sweat. 10 squats, no sweat. And then we had to do lines, which in the old days, I called suicides, but I call them lines. So here's the basketball court. I'm on the end line, run to the free throw line, run back, run to half court, run back, run to the other free throw line, back, and all the way to the end and back. So I'm running. This 5th grader, he could blow me out of the water and sprint, go by me, but he stayed with me. And I'm running, not super fast, but I'm running, but I'm kind of getting gas towards the end. And I hear some kids, I have 40 kids in that class. I clap and I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's cool. And then we get done. He's like, okay, Mrs. Miles, we have to do burpees. I'm like, are you sure burpees are on the list? Yeah, I made the list up. I know it. Like, oh, great. I'm pretty beat now from just not running. And I do a lot of these activities with them, but not all the time. And I don't do a lot of the running with them because I'm 63 and I don't do a lot of running, but yet I can do all this other stuff. So I did the burpees and they weren't pretty. I heard a couple snickers and I'm like, So I got done. I said, you're right. I heard some snickers when they weren't pretty. I said, I'm kind of gassed, to be honest with you, for running and then doing burpees. So I thought about it all day and all night. It didn't upset me, but I thought about it. I'm like, man, that wasn't pretty. So the next day, I pick out my clothes the night before that I'm going to wear. And I had a shirt on. 3 years ago, I got inducted into my high school Hall of Fame because I was a pretty good field hockey player. And I bought this shirt that said the name of the high school, Shore Regional High School Field Hockey. And I chose that shirt to wear. And I think subconsciously, I know why, because I decided I'm going to talk about me. I don't talk about me to my students much, but I said to them, the next morning with the 40 kids, I said, yesterday this kid asked me to run and I ran and I was gassed and I did burpees and they weren't pretty and I heard some snickers. But let me tell you something. I was a pretty good athlete back in my day. I said, I'm in my 60s now. And they were like, oh, it was cute. It was cute. And I said, and I didn't do real fast running, but I used to be a good athlete. I was an all-state field hockey player my senior year in high school. I was junior year, I was one of the top scorers in the state of New Jersey. I was 2nd team all-state. and I got a full ride to college to play field hockey. So I did 4 years of field hockey, started every game. And so I was good at the end of my day. Am I now? Not so good. But I said to them, I said, but I might do more than your grandparents do, and maybe even some of your parents. I said, you know, I kayak every Wednesday because they can see my kayak in my pickup truck. And I said, you know, I bike, you know, I snowshoe. I said, I do a lot of things. Can I sprint real fast anymore? No. Were my burpees good? Not so good yesterday, but then I dropped into 2 burpees to show them I can do burpees, but not after running. But anyway, it was a good teachable moment to share that with my students because they weren't pretty. And I might have said, come on, Amy, stretch your legs out more, get your butt down, Wally. I might have said that to them, but it was fun to share that moment, that little teachable moment that back in the day, I was decent. I'm not so good now, but I'm still moving my body. And that's the point I want to give to them. Keep on moving at any age.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The carnivore way of eating give you all the energy you want.
You know what? I used to do all this stuff before. I used to bike. I used to snowshoe. I used to play pickleball and kayak, but I did it in pain. Before pickleball, I knew I was going to play 2-3 hours. I take ibuprofen beforehand. I take ibuprofen a few hours later. I took ibuprofen before I went to bed. That ibuprofen's junk, but I needed it to sleep because I was in so much pain from playing those activities. I'd move my knees around when I was playing because my knees were like stiff and they didn't work good. Now, if I move them, I'm just, I get fired up to play, And I like to share my joy of being outdoors with people. The name of my club is the Yak Yak Sisters, like us on Facebook. And there's like 1,000 on the Facebook page, but not everyone's kayak with us. But I've turned a lot of people onto kayaking, pickleball, snowshoe. People have turned me on to snowshoe, and I got to give a shout out to my friend Cheryl. Cheryl has also turned me on to big time bike riding. If I did 5 miles before, that was good, but now I could do 20 easily, or stuff like that. So I've encouraged a lot. People have encouraged me, and I have a great group of friends I can reach out to. In my phone, I just look for a kayak, and there's 40 people I can say, hey, you want a kayak today? Or pickleball. And I have carnivore. So if I want to find somebody, I put that next to their name, and I can find people I want to get a hold of. So
that's amazing. And so you started your carnivore journey with a standard carnivore way of eating. And how did you feel at the beginning, and how did you change it? Did you go to phases like PSMF phases, and now the high fat, moderate protein phases? How did you go, and what was the improvement you find in each carnivore way of eating?
Good question. So it'll be 3 years for me in 2 months that I'll be eating carnivore. It'll be 3 years.
Congrats.
So it's been like 5 years. Thank you. So 5 years with the low carb and now the carnivore, that I've changed my life. 5 years. It's been fantastic. I started eating a pound of meat a day. I probably ate 2.5 pounds a day. Maybe a pound of lunch, pound for dinner, maybe some eggs, or maybe a little bit of meat for breakfast. And so I did all that. So on my first year, I was on my own, no coaching, not, just YouTubes and Instagram. And I loved Instagram because, Facebook, you're zeroing in on health. Say, Amy puts a post up and all these people comment, but the big wigs didn't comment. And then I remember on Instagram, commenting on Kelly's or Judy Cho's or Laura Spath's, and some of them would respond back. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. They talk back and forth. I remember the first time Kelly and I had this long chat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to Kelly Hogan. This is so cool. But you don't get that on Facebook. But Instagram is pretty cool that you could have those comments. So at the start, I just ate whatever. So and I didn't have a lot of Instagram friends, on that per se. And December of 2019, and then COVID hit, April. Well, that spring, schools were shut down. I got shut down. I'm a teacher. I was home. And I was watching more and more of YouTubes and stuff like that. Still, I didn't really have carnivore friends per se, just a few people back and forth. And Kelly Hogan asked me to be on her YouTube channel. She wanted to put some good news out because everything was crap. You know, it started on that St. Patrick's Day. And then after that, everything just shut down. So she wanted to put some good news out. So I saw she put it out there. I'm like, well, I don't have any good news. I've only been doing this 4 months. I'm not having good news. And then she put it out again. I'm like, she's still looking for people. I said, you know what? I'm going to type something up and send it to her. If she wants me, she wants me. If not, whatever. So I typed something up, sent it to her. And then I was doing some school stuff because, you know, I'm still teaching how to do interactions. And hours later, I look at my Instagram and she's like, yes, I'm like, oh, what? So we went video, and I still look at that video every now and then because that was the first interaction with Kelly, and it's really cool. It's fun. And you know, I still talk to her here and there, but so that was that first year. So then the 6-month mark, I went to New Jersey, and I knew I was going to be in the area where Dr. Elisa Wiedemann lives, the carnivore doctor. So I contacted her a month beforehand or 6 weeks, and I said, hey, I'm going to be in your area. I'd love to meet you. She said, why don't I have a meetup? That was the first Northeast meetup that she had, but it was during COVID. So of course, not that many people came, and she had another small for me. I just tell Lisa, I think that was the first meetup. And she had 2 that year. I said, I still say the one I went to was your first meetup, Lisa. I joke with her. So she just had 8 of us at an Italian restaurant outdoors because it was COVID. And that was cool. So I met Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, was the first carnivore I met. I thought that was cool. The night before I met her, I knew she lived near me. And I just got done playing pickleball for a couple hours, hot and sweaty. And I said, I'm going to send her a message, see if she wants to walk on the boardwalk, because I know the boardwalk, I know the area. So she didn't get my message. So in the meantime, I called my husband. I'm walking on the boardwalk. So it's starting to get dark. I'm like, okay, Jeff, I got to go. I got to walk back to my car. See you later. I hang up and I look at my phone. There's a message from the carnivore doctor. Yeah, I'd like to walk. So I'm like, yes, sent her a message. So we walked on the boardwalk, and, you know, she's a no nonsense kind of girl. I said, you know, I'm in Jersey and I love my sfogliatelles and my cannolis, these Italian treats. I said, I'm probably going to have some before you leave. She's like, Karen, you know, you'll go down a slippery slope. You don't need that corner, that's crack cocaine, that's like crack. And she like shook me up and made me think, yeah, no, you're right. But did I listen? I didn't listen because I grew up eating that stuff, and I'm here, and it's the first time I'm carnivore. I had some like 2 days before we were going to go. I was going to go back to Illinois. And the day before we were going to go back to Illinois, we were going to go to New York City, but I ate like a half both of those desserts. I was in a bathroom the whole next day. We were going to go to New York City. We could not. I had to stay home the whole next day. It was terrible. I'm like, live and learn. I hadn't had sugar in 6 months, give or take by then. And then that next day I was going to fly home to Jersey, and I got pink eye. My eye was a mess. I'm like, that sugar jacked me up, man. Holy cow. No, still the stomach issues still weren't great. But anyway, that was crazy. So I was 6 months in and meeting carnivore doctor and some other people at this meetup, this young couple from Maryland. And I talked to them a little bit. And then that December, Steak and Butter Gal I got to meet her a little bit, you know, get to know her on Instagram. And then she had said, hey, I'm looking for 10 people to be in a coaching group. Now that's the first coaching group I ever heard of at that point. It'll be 2 years. So she said, I'm looking for 10 people to be in a private coaching group. You get to Zoom with me. We'll meet a couple times a week for an hour, one-on-one Zoom. And I might do this as a big time coaching deal. And I'm looking for 10 volunteers. And I'm like, okay, I'm putting my name in, you know, I'm a 1-year carnivore, you know, So she chose me out of one of her 10. And I still keep in contact with a few of those people. So I got to do a one-on-one Zoom with her, which was pretty cool. It was neat. One-on-one for an hour. First 10 minutes, we talked about carnivore. The next 50 minutes, we talked about life. And that was kind of good. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. So then I got to meet these 10 people from around the world. There were a couple from a couple other countries. And one is meat and coffee gal, Amy, who is a good friend of mine. And we've met twice in Jersey. We've met at the Chicagoland meetup. We met once. First time we met was in Rockford, Illinois, where the two of us spent all day together. And that was pretty cool. So I got to be friends. So then I didn't join her group that next month, but then I did join the group and I met some dear, dear people. And before that, Kelly Hogan asked me and Jacki Jam and a couple other people to preview her videos before they went live. So all of her videos I get to see before you guys get to see. And we look for mistakes, like maybe a typo, but she doesn't make too many mistakes. She's good. But then we'll say, hey, maybe why don't you put a picture here? Or why don't you type this stuff here? And she might change things.
You need to ask her for more carnivore news.
You know what? That's a lot of time, a lot of planning.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll say it. Hey, Kelly Hogan, why don't you do some more carnivore news? So that's
I love
when I met
those.
Jacki Jam. I met Jacki Jam through that because she was one of the people. And Jacki Jam said, why don't you have us in the carnivore news? So Kelly's like, okay. So we got microphones. I remember I used a whisk from the kitchen because I did it from school. Did my carnivore news that way. So we did that a few times. And again, that was a lot of fun. That's where I got to meet Jacki. And I told Jacki I was in the steak and butter gang. So she joined that. And then we met Tammy to teach ZC and became a very good friend. And this summer I had the Chicagoland meetup, and Tammy and Amy, Meat and Coffee Gal, and Jacki all came to my house, spent some time at my house, and went to Chicagoland meetup together. So that's pretty special when you get to meet these carnivores. And I hosted another one in Peoria a year ago. So I kind of like, and I did these little mini ones at these restaurants in my area, Davenport, Iowa. I met some cool people that way. So I'm just enjoying life. So carnivore, how's it helped me? It helped my whole body. It helped my whole body. Some people, I didn't have autoimmune deficiencies like some people have. I wish I could say it helped me do my leaky gut, but I didn't have any of those things. But it did jack up my stomach right away, and I had to go to the bathroom a lot more. You know, you have to stay near a toilet. Still occasionally I have that, but I did not do protein sparing modified fast, but I did do the lean fat days with Kelly Hogan a year ago last spring, and I did have success. I lost like 8 pounds in about 2 months. So that was good, but I was looking forward to eating fat. Now it's been 3 months for me doing the 80-20. I lost 5 pounds the first month, but I've gained a few of those pounds back. You know, I track, I do that, and I do my blood sugar and ketones. Ever in the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, my blood sugar is still fine, but my ketones have been jacked up ever since I've been eating out a lot the last couple weeks. Celebrating birthday. Yesterday I was gone all day. I ate out a couple times. So I think that jacks me up a little bit. Sometimes I might eat a little bit of the sauce and seed oils, who knows, whatever. But
and you don't prefer to keep it simple, like casual carnivore, because at the end with the 80-20, you lost a couple of pounds, you gained back some of them, and you're tracking, and it's like, okay, for me, it's so boring, all this tracking experiment stuff. And I love it when it's so simple, you know?
Yeah, I get that. But you know, one thing I really like about the 80-20, it's my biggest benefit. You save money.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I
Definitely.
love. Butter's cheap, eggs are cheap. But I mean, that's across the board all the time. But instead of a pound of meat, all right, say I'm eating ground beef that I paid, whatever, $4 a pound for. And I'm eating it twice a day, which I did not do ground beef all the time. But, you know, I'd have a steak, and I mean, just saving money now. I'm waiting for my husband to complain, but I'll buy a big porterhouse or whatever, and I'll cut off the strip for him, and I'll eat the tenderloin and stuff. That's all I need is that little bit of meat. I don't need that 1.5 pounds of the ribeye or the porterhouse or whatever. I'm just saving my ribeye lasts me 3 meals instead of 1 meal. I like that.
Yeah.
And I tell you, the meetup, we were talking before we went on the air, and I know Amy and Stephanie both live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that's not far from New Jersey. And that meetup in New Jersey, I think, is a meetup of all meetups. And, you know, if we could come and meet you, I met some awesome people.
I will come next year.
You're gonna
Yeah.
come next year?
Yeah,
Awesome. I know you missed it by a short time.
yeah.
Short time.
And
That'd be
this year
great.
I won't screw up. I will come.
That's great. You gotta, yeah, time it better. Last time you missed it by a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to meet some phenomenal people that I was talking to for over a year. And then just to finally meet these people is very, very awesome. Yeah. Meetups are awesome. And what, like that meetup in Jersey, we started on Wednesday when Jackie came in. The meetup was Saturday. Thursday, I had a meet and greet at, well, whatever. Went to a Brazilian steakhouse and I played in the whole night. And afterwards we went and played miniature golf. And then we had a little party at Lisa's Friday for some of the out of towners. And then Saturday was a big meetup and did some other stuff. So we did yoga on the beach. That Sunday morning, a bunch of people left, but those that stayed, we played pickleball. And it was, and then Jackie and some others stayed a few more days and it was awesome. But like I was telling you guys, my family's going to be there this year. So it's going to make it a little trickier for me to be involved in all those awesome carnivore events. So for anybody that wants to go to the Northeast meetup next summer that the Carnivore Doctor's hosting, here's a commercial. It's July 22nd in somewhere in New Jersey on the Jersey Shore. There'll be hotels, but I recommend getting a bed and breakfast or whatever, Airbnb they call them now. Then whatever, all those ones, because you'll probably save some money if you do that. But anyway, be there or be square.
It's on the calendar.
We'll be there.
Claire, I don't even know if I answered all your messages, your question, because I was all over the place.
Oh, it was perfect.
I want to do a little plug for me and my buddy Jacki Jam, the Carnivore Twins. We have a YouTube channel and we like to do just like fun things. We're not serious. We don't dive into the science. We just do some fun things. So check us out if you haven't yet.
Yeah, and
Carnivore.
I'm still waiting for a new challenge with you and Jackie. You know, you've done the sardines one, and still then we are still waiting for the next one. Come on.
Yeah, we
Don't
did a
do it
carnivore.
with the disgusting stuff like sardines, you know.
Yeah, we probably had about 75 people jump on that call. It was so much fun. We challenged people to eat sardines. 8 of them were brand
No,
new
but
of eating sardines.
Do it with like whipped with butter or dehydrated bacon. Dehydrated bacon, please. Yeah, do it, please.
That's not really a challenge for you though, Claire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can be all eating the same at the same time and that make it amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can do that in the oven. You can even do it in an air fryer, but I would not want to run my air fryer that many hours. I'd burn it up.
Right.
Yeah. And I did watch your video about what's your favorite appliance, and definitely mine hands down is an air fryer. Hands down.
Yeah. And I
Ours
forgot to
too.
mention during the video that mine is named Baloo, which because is the bare necessity in the Jungle Book.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
you have the song, you know. I won't sing it because I'm so bad singer, but yeah, it is my bare necessity, is my air fryer.
The simple bareness. I won't sing it either.
Exactly.
I don't sing well either.
Mine doesn't have a name, but she's definitely a female.
Oh,
I
Oh no, mine
always,
is a man. Come on,
I
it's
always
so
refer to
strong.
her as her.
you know, I got a new one a few months ago, and my last one was Alice Fran for air fryer. And I'm so bad. I can't think of this first name. The middle name is Vincent, and I can't. Oh, I'm terrible. I can't think of this name. I have it written down. I'll have to check. So I journal, and in the back of my journal, I'll put down some of my favorite recipes and who I got them from, and different silly things like kayak and who I know kayak, so I can remember to tag them, or pickleball, so I remember to tag them. So that's in the back of my journal. So I just do little tips and the name of my air fryer. So yeah.
Hey, Karen, I wanted to ask you, are any of your family members carnivore or low carb even? It's just you. See, me too.
My son Vinny, before for a while he was low carb, and that was good. And his girlfriend and the kids, that kind of knocked the sugar out for a while, and that was all good. They were just a little calmer. but now she got pregnant, had a baby, and now they're just all back to eating whatever. But,
Right.
and my grandkids, the grandkids come every Sunday, and I try to get them to be a little more carnivore-esque. We do kitchen cabinet videos together where I literally put my phone in the kitchen cabinets and do videos, kitchen cabinet videos. And my one granddaughter, one day I made ribeyes and I gave her a ribeye. She's like, Nana, can I have hearts? I'm like, yes, you can have heart. Give me that ribeye back. And now when I get a heart, I'll slice it up, beef heart, and I'll cook up what I want, keep a little bit in the fridge, but then I'll freeze them into steaks, put them on a baking sheet for some hours, freeze it up, then put it in a gallon baggie. So when she comes, I can take out whatever I want, how much steak, and now I throw it in the air fryer, and she just loves it. So who knew?
Wow.
Who knew? We like heart. I like to make tongue. People give me their beef tongue and their beef heart and their oxtail, and I appreciate that. I have numerous people that do that. So a lot of my students, my fifth graders especially, know I eat this way because their teachers tell them when they're talking about science. We have a brand new teacher that's a vegan. So I joke and say, let's go out to eat. We'll order a dinner. We'll split it. I get the steak, you get my sides. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
So none of my family, but my husband loves that we have steak once or twice a week. He loves it. He loves how I eat because I don't give him chicken anymore that much. It's a lot of beef, a little bit of pork, a little bit of chicken, but
Yeah.
Right.
So do you prefer cooking like recipes? Like we've seen some of your recipes, or do you like keep it kind of simple on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think even my recipes are simple. I think brojol that Kelly Hogan blew up the internet with,
Yeah.
steak and put some prosciutto in it and some mustard I've used and cheeses, roll it up. I cooked it on the grill. That's a lot of work. Not work, but I've cooked it on the grill, and in the air fryer. That's easiest. I put some whipped brown butter on top. I put Kelly Hogan's tangy sauce on top. Speaking about prosciutto, my buddy Bruno that lives in Canada brought prosciutto to the meetup in Jersey, and I got to have it. Oh no, was that Capicola. I'm bad, my mistake. Capicola that he made himself, him and his dad make it. So that's pretty cool. I got to have that.
We love Bruno.
We
And
love
we should
Bruno.
try dehydrated this as well. I mean, the hydrating phase, I'm dehydrating everything.
Right. Yeah, we love Bruno too. You don't talk about Bruno. I play that song at school whenever I play. I think Bruno. Yeah. Anyway, again, I met him at the Northeast meetup last summer in Jersey, and I got a massage. He's a masseuse, so that was kind of fun.
Mhm.
Yep.
So can you
what-
speak a little bit more about your CGM experiment?
That was interesting. So let me tell you how I got it. I didn't say it all on the internet, but I know somebody that had a pancreas transplant. He's had 2 of them. He was a type 1 diabetic since he was a kid. So I know him really well. I know his wife. I know his, not wife. Yeah, I know his wife too and his kids. I've had them. I know his mom. I know his brother. Played sports with my son. So I know the family really well. So I was talking to him and I said, oh, I bet you don't miss having, the pump on you and taking your glucose and the CGM, all that stuff. No, did you have to take your blood glucose for a while? Yeah, I had to track eggs and everything's fine. And then I said, hey, by the way, you wouldn't happen to have any extra CGMs around, would you? He said, I do. I said, you do? Do you mind partnering with one? He said, oh, no, Karen, I'll give you one. I'm like, awesome. I still need to buy, I want to get him a thank you. I want to get him a gift card to someplace. I said, thank you. I need to do that this weekend. Anyway, so he said, yeah, sure. And he told me how to use it. Of course, I went and watched YouTube videos and used it. And it was interesting, but I'm glad my life doesn't depend on it because it wasn't as accurate as I wanted it to be. It said I had low blood sugar a lot of the nights, and the one time it happened right in the morning. So I got up and took my blood glucose right away. And I do know it's checking your interstitial whatever fluid and not your actual blood. I know it's not going to be exact, but it was way off. Like my prick was 85 and this showed I was like 55. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Way off. I'm like, So I calibrated a few times because I did my prick and then calibrated. I don't get it, but it was cool to see. A couple nights it worked real well, and a night it was good to see that was level. I did eat a peach for my experiment. It wasn't super ripe. It wasn't a delicious bend over peach like Jacki Jam calls them, that the juices the drip all over. But it went up just a little bit and came back down. So that was really interesting. I ate a bigger meal one day, like a pound of meat, and that didn't change anything. So if it was really accurate, I just thought it would have been the coolest thing, but
Yeah.
and then a couple nights I don't have hot flashes, but a couple nights I get warm in the nighttime, not sweating bullets like I have had. So I've taken it off, and I noticed that's when my numbers went down. So did my blood sugar really drop at that time? Probably. They say when you get hot flashes, does drop it. So was that really accurate then? I don't know, because I didn't get up and check my blood sugar. So it was interesting, but it did interrupt my sleep. Some people are like, why are you still using it if it's interrupting your sleep? You know what? I get cramps and interrupt my sleep sometimes. So what's the difference? So no cramp last night. Any night without a cramp is a good night.
Oh, by the way, have you tried before the weighted blankets for the cramps?
I have not tried a weighted blanket, but I have put extra blankets on me, like even just on my legs. I know I've heard people, so Bruno mentioned it. I've done a couple extra blankets for extra weight, not a whole weighted blanket per se, but I have done that.
Okay, just ask for as a Christmas present, a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might give it a try. Like, it's good.
And you know what? I think I know somebody that has one. I should say, hey, can I borrow one for 2 nights? Just to try it. Because I don't know. Maybe. I tried compression sleeves for your calves. And I wore it before I went to bed. I wore it to bed. I had my worst cramps that night. I'm like, oh my gosh. Terrible.
You should not wear these for sleeping time.
But the
The
compression
compression stuff.
Well, you sure?
Yeah,
Why?
okay. In France, it's not recommended by the doctor for the medical
Okay.
team. They say, okay, you have to remove it before bedtime.
Well, people have varicose veins, Amy, right? They wear them at night because I have varicose veins, and I went through a whole treatment 2 times with surgical procedures, and you had to wear them for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the recommended treatment for venous stasis of any kind, or
Okay.
yeah.
And did you decrease your amount of fluid you're having to reduce the leg cramps?
Amount of what? I'm sorry.
Liquid water.
Oh, I've done that. I've done lots less water. I've done lots more water. I've done this sipping. I've done LMNT. I've done Relight. I've done snake juice. I've done, it really, really could be that I'm on my feet a lot, but I doing the PE gig, they started up really bad when I started back to school, really bad. But I did have them this summer, but then I didn't have them for a while. I'm all over the place. Oh, you know what? The true test is in June of 2023, when I don't teach anymore, when I'm just regular pickleball and biking and hiking and stuff like that, and not on my feet 8 hours a day. And in the wintertime, I do sit a little more for PE because I'm indoors and I'm not standing and reffing. And when I'm outdoors, I'm standing the whole time. When I'm indoors, I'm standing and moving plenty, but I do sit down every now and then because we're playing a game and I want to get out of their way sometimes, So we'll see. I know life is a mystery, but in June 2023, and when we start again in August, when everybody goes back to school and I'm not, that's going to be a true test to see what's going on. Is it some mold in my building? I know you said you don't like really tracking. I've enjoyed tracking my foods and putting it in an app and checking out. I enjoy that.
I'm losing so much time, doing this kind of stuff. And I don't want to have my finger with blood anymore, I'm like becoming picky at it.
Okay. Okay. And I'm not going to do this all the time. I'm just playing. I'm thinking,
And what I love in the carnivore way of eating is you just have to relax. It's not the keto stuff. You just have to enjoy your food and not track anything. And for me, with my background tracking, it's a mess.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it forever, but right now it's kind of fun. And
Karen, thank you again so much for spending some time with us today. We really appreciate it. I don't think I stopped smiling the entire time. You're so much fun to talk to. So we truly appreciate that. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for your support of our channel. We will have Karen's info listed down below, her Instagram, her YouTube channel, all the ways that you can find her. But also take a minute to like, share, comment, click subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss another cool conversation like this. We're going to have a lot more guests coming up. You don't want to miss it. And don't forget, you can also join us for live meetings and special guest speakers when you join us on Heart Carnivore on the Mighty Networks. It's just $10 a month there. The link to join that community, along with all the ways that you can connect with all of us, will be linked down below as well. Until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.